Hari Om. Haba. Haba. Hari Om Ji. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tuma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. We have to do 15th, Yata tathopadeshena kritartha sattva buddhiman ajivamapi jignasuhu parastatra vimuhyati. Yatha tatha, as it is. Upadeshana, when the teaching is given as it should be given, true to the Shastra. If the teaching is given correctly, correct teaching, correct prakriya, Upadesha, and a person who is receptive to the teaching as it is taught. Sometimes we listen to the class to find some answers to the topical problems. Vedanta doesn't come up with any specific problems for the specific answers for the topical problems. Therefore, a student has to listen to Vedanta only as an answer to the universal Tat Srishtva Tadevanupravishadu. Bhagavan himself has entered the form and he himself has the equation with the form. And human problem is, he is the truth with the idea that he is a form. And that is the timeless problem, the fundamental problem. So if a person listens to Vedanta as an answer to that fundamental problem, he will listen to Vedanta correctly. But we have a lot of topical problems, day-to-day problems. And a lot of people say, also, Swamiji, today's your class solves many of my problems. I say, kuch nahi. It solves only one problem, which is fundamental. I never think of the topical problems. Nor my teaching ever geared to solving the topical problems. Jiva has the capacity to solve his own day-to-day problems. Shastra need not come. In fact, Shabda is not a pramana, where Pratyaksha is pramana. Where pratyaksha is a pramana, shastra is not a pramana. Where anumana is a pramana, there shabda is not, shastra is not a pramana. How to solve my topical problems? I can do it through my common sense, which is pratyaksha pramana. My reasoning. All our topical problems can be solved through our reasoning. Whereas the fundamental problem that I am not the form, you see, this is something different. It's not a just spiritual problem is an answer to our day-to-day problem. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. You can continue to have the same problems. I may study Vedanta day and night, and still I may have topical problems. Children are not well, children are not doing well, they are not doing well in studies, and there is financial problem, the husband doesn't behave well. All these problems are topical problems. How does the Vedanta solve it? Brahma Vidya doesn't solve. Vyavaharika problems are not solved by Paramartha Upadesha. Paramartha Upadesha solves the fundamental problem, by solving which really you are all right. Problems will be there, but you are all right. You can manage yourself amidst all the problems. But the topical problem is not solved by Vedanta. Vedanta solves human weakness. Vedanta solves human confusion. Vedanta solves man's intolerance, etc. But the external problems, Vedanta cannot solve. If I fall sick, how can Vedanta solve? My vocal cords, day in and day out I am teaching Vedanta, but Vedanta doesn't solve my vocal cords problems, ji. Therefore, don't listen to Vedanta as an answer to your day-to-day problems. And it is again a habit with many people say that Swami is very good because he refers to our day-to-day problems. That's not teaching, please. That's not teaching. That is okay, that is Dharmopadesha. That is Dharmopadesha. That's not Vedanta Upadesha. Vedanta is a Upadesha referring to what you are, not what you are supposed to be doing. Which dal you should eat, which rice you should eat, and what time you should get up, and what should you take in the morning, and what should you take in the evening. This is all do's and don'ts. Vedanta doesn't talk about the do's and don'ts. And therefore, it becomes easier to listen to Vedanta correctly only when I listen to it as the answer to my spiritual problem. It is a different problem. And the one who listens to Vedanta also is a different person. His understanding is different. He is unlike the entire society. He is distinct from the rest of the society. Just as a diamond is distinct from the rest of the pebbles, in the same manner, an individual who goes to Vedanta with the right reception is unlike the entire society. Therefore, how does one listen to Vedanta correctly? Listen to it as the answer to the fundamental problem. Then you listen to it correctly. Otherwise, you will be reading some answers into the teaching, answers to the topical problems. And the teaching goes on, and along with the teaching, I will be interpreting the teaching to answer my topical problems. And therefore here he says, yatha tatha upadeshana When the teaching is given correctly, and when the teaching is heard correctly, listened to correctly, kritartha, a person becomes fulfilled. Beyond listening, you don't do anything, because listening itself takes care of understanding. When the 10th man is told, you are the 10th man, that very listening of the statement changes his whole thinking, the direction of his thinking. There is enlightenment that I am the 10th man. And it's over. It's not that there is a phase of mananam, phase of nididhyasanam. You can't have a phase of mananam, phase of nididhyasanam without proper shravanam. Shravanam culminates in mananam. That is shravanam. Shravanam has to touch your thinking. If it doesn't touch your thinking, that means you are not hearing it properly. Shravanam must culminate in mananam. And mananam has to culminate in understanding. Mananam and nididhyasanam are one and the same. If you do mananam and then if you do deep mananam, that is called nididhyasanam. Therefore, we respect what the Shruti says, that is Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha, keeping in view all kinds of students, keeping in view various kinds of adhikaris. The Shruti says you have to be Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha. Uttamadhikari, as he hears, he understands, his attention, he uses his attention to think of his existence, his being. And therefore, if a person is less than Uttamadhikari, then Mananam also is required. He is still less than Nididhyasanam also is necessary. In this manner, the Shruti takes care of all kinds of students. Atma Vari, Shrotavyaha, Mantavyaha, Nididhyasitavyaha. Because one doesn't have to tell. It has to be listened to, and it has to be reflected upon, and it has to be deeply reflected upon, and it has to be understood. All these things, in my view, are not necessary. Why? Because Shravanam has to culminate in Mananam. Mananam has to culminate in understanding. Like when you do a right action, it culminates in satisfaction. You have no choice. Just as the right action culminates in kind of satisfaction, happiness. When you feed a poor man, it culminates in your happiness. You have no choice. When you go for a little walking, it really refreshes you. You have no choice. When you eat food, you feel full. It appeases your hunger. You have no choice. In that manner, when you listen to Vedanta correctly, it has to touch your thinking. It has to guide your attention to your being. It culminates in clarity, ji. And even if we say the Shravanam culminates in Mananam, okay, Mananam has to culminate in understanding, Jnanam. Or if a person is, a Uttamadhikari, a person is already a reflective person, he has brought with him some sanskaras in the past, then Shravanam itself culminates in knowledge. He doesn't have to do a lot of reasoning. Because you grow out of the entire need for reasoning. The moment you understand the truth, the topic is the subject, which is evident. In the light of the evidence, you don't need the reasoning. Reasoning is used in the lack of evidence. When it is not evident, then you use reasoning. Ye kahan hai, kaise hai, vagara. If it is evident, supposing you are there in Ramana Kendra now, do you have to use reasoning to know it? Reasoning is not greater than seeing the evidence. Therefore, in the light of the truth being the subject, you don't need reasoning. The difference between the subject and the object also is evident. One's existence and the form, the difference is also evident. If that evidence is seen, then you don't need reasoning. If that evidence is not seen, then to understand that evident thing, then you use reasoning like, I am aware of something and the body is an object that I am aware of. The body cannot be aware of, whereas I am not an object. All these things, the lot of language comes into the picture. This is what is called mananam. You reflect upon, you dwell on, you think in terms of the dissimilarity between the subject and the object. You think in terms of the dissimilarity between the subject and the object. And that dissimilarity, seeing that dissimilarity slowly, gradually is called mananam. Let the Shravanam culminate in mananam or directly in knowledge. What does it matter? Sometimes, it's like 13 plus 7. If a person is bright, he will say 20. You say 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. You understand, ऐसा भी लोग होते हैं ना? That is called adhikari bheda. Otherwise, you make a mental leap. And a person who can make mental leaps is called uttam adhikari. And a person who counts on the fingertips is called really madhyama adhikari, manda adhikari, etc. Swamiji, using this terminology, does it not give any complex to the people? I say, that is a fact. What is complex about it? That is a fact. Why complex? Even Nachiketa says, Bahuna memi prathamaha, Bahuna memi madhyamaha. It's excellent. I like his thinking, that is, yes, there are so many people ahead of me and there are so many people behind me. And it applies to every individual. There are many people ahead of me, there are many people behind me. Kim svidyamasya kartavyam. What can I do? What seva can I do to Yama if I go there? Because my father is sending me to Yama and I have to be of some service. But definitely I am not the dullest. Because there are so many people behind me, there are so many people ahead of me, there are so many people behind me. And Bhashyakara says, therefore I am not the mandatamaha, I am not the dullest. Because there are so many people behind me. Therefore I should be of some service to him. Therefore, there is something, adhikari bheda is there. But adhikari bheda cannot deny you knowledge. It may take time, but it can't deny you, because Shravanam has to culminate in Mananam. Mananam has to culminate, supposing it doesn't culminate in knowledge, then it has to culminate in Nididhyasanam. And if Nididhyasanam has to culminate in knowledge, and if it doesn't culminate in knowledge, it has to continue as Nididhyasanam for some more time. But definitely, right Shravanam cannot make you take a U-turn. There is no U-turn from Vedanta, please, if it is heard properly. And when do you hear it properly? When you hear it as the answer to the fundamental problem. Very deeply spiritual. It is addressed to the truth about itself, truth. The literature is from the truth, addressed to the truth, about its identity as the truth. Therefore, it is not addressed to a human being. Tat tvamasi, that tvam is not a human being. That tvam is a conscious being, which is not, which is there in all the three states. It is the eternal that is addressed by the literature coming from the eternal. And therefore, yatha tatha upadeshena kritartha, a person becomes fulfilled. Sattva buddhiman, a person who has the right mind, right intelligence. But if a person listens to Vedanta as an answer to his mystical problems, as an answer to his superstitions, etc., then ajivamapi, even the whole life, jignasuhu, even if a person is studying Vedanta for the whole life, paraha, the other person, who is not sattva buddhiman, who doesn't have the right mind, tatra vimuhyati, he will be full of confusions. A person who doesn't listen to Vedanta as an answer to the fundamental problem, he will be confused. Even after listening to Vedanta for the whole life, he will still have confusions. Why? Because Vedanta, the spirit of Vedanta, is not understood. It is a teaching that is addressed to the truth about itself. It's not Mr. So-and-so that is addressed. Tat tvamasi, that tvam is not the son of so-and-so, the father of so-and-so. It's not addressed. That tvam does not refer to a role. That tvam refers to the eternal being. And what is constantly within experience. Even blackout, experiencing the blackout is nothing but experiencing one's own silent presence. It is interpreted as a blackout. You cannot not have anubhava of yourself. Supposing a person says, I disappeared. Even the proof of one's own disappearance has to be oneself. You have to think this. How does one prove one's disappearance? Oneself is the proof of the disappearance of one's embodiment. Just as my knowledge is, my experience is the proof of my embodiment, my experience alone should be the proof of the disappearance of my embodiment. My knowledge is the proof of the presence of my thought. My experience again is the proof of the negation of the thought. That there is waking, the proof of it is my experience. That there is a dream, the proof of it is our experience. And in the deep sleep state, there is no waking, there is no dream. The proof of it again is our experience. We assert there is no waking. You can never assert a belief like that. You can make a person doubt his belief, but you can never make anybody doubt deep sleep state experience. It is my experience. Waking is my experience. Dream is my experience. Deep sleep state is also one's experience. It's not a negation of experience. This statement has to be dwelt on. Deep sleep state is not negation of experience. It is itself experience. If there were no experience, then what is the proof of the fact that there is no experience? Experience is the Mahapramanam. Anubhava is, experience is the final Pramanam. And that experience is pointed out by the Shabda. It is a Shabda Pramanam. Shabda Pramana points to your existence. But the proof of that existence is Anubhava, self-evident. It's not that I am there because the Shastra says so. It's not that Shastra says so, therefore I am. Even if my existence is there, because it is evident to me. And therefore, the one that is addressed is the eternal place. Not an individual is not. Individuality, an individual is not the sense of the word tvam. The known meaning of the word tvam is Mr. So-and-so. But what the Shruti thinks by the word tvam is the eternal thou, the unnegatable thou. The unnegatable thou is the source. The unnegatable thou is unlimited. The unnegatable thou is nirvisesham. And the unnegatability of the thou is also experienced. It's not something the Shruti says so, no. Shruti is only Shabda Pramanam, not Mahapramanam. Mahapramanam is the truth, the evidence of the truth. The 10th man, his existence is evident, that is Mahapramana. The evidence of himself being there is the evidence of himself being there as the seeker of the 10th man. The evidence of himself is there, that is Mahapramanam. Shruti says you are not the seeker of 10th man, you are the 10th man. That is the Shabda Pramanam. That is Aptavakya. Thus, there is a difference between Shabda Pramanam and Mahapramanam, the truth. Therefore, when the Vedanta is addressed to the eternal, about his eternity, is addressed to the eternal, which thinks itself to be non-eternal. Even though it thinks that it is non-eternal, but the one who is addressed is the eternal. Yes, thou art the eternal. The 10th man is addressed. The 10th man is addressed. Not the non-10th man is addressed. He thinks that he is non-10th man. But the Aptavakya addresses the 10th man. Thou art the 10th man. Because the teacher thinks that he is the 10th man. And therefore, it has to be heard correctly. And if a person is not a sattva buddhiman, if he doesn't have proper mind, he may listen to Vedanta the whole life and he will still have confusions. Clear, ji? 2 points. Listen to it as the answer to the fundamental problem of every living being. It is not the fundamental problem of only you. It is the fundamental problem of every living being. It is universal problem. Even the idea of the universal problem is due to the problem that of my embodiment. If I didn't have the embodiment, then I would not think of any universal problem. Because when there is a universe with so many jivas, then I come up with the terminology called the universal problem. And therefore, there is nothing wrong in thinking like this. Vedanta addresses every living being. It applies to every living being. Every living being may not be receptive to it, but the topic applies to every living being. It teaches the human beings because human beings can understand. But that thou is the conscious being of every living being. Even a mosquito is thou. Thus, the Gambhirata, the depth of Vedanta, has to seep into one's mind also. It's not an ordinary teaching. It's not a teaching meant for reforming the society. It's not a reformative literature, please. It is talking something else. It's not a reformative dharmic literature. If I listen to Vedanta thinking that maybe it will help me little, then I don't understand. Then I start interpreting Vedanta in terms of certain answers to my problems. But Vedanta is not a pramanam to solve my day-to-day problems. ये बात को अच्छी तरह से समझना. And seeing this point, what Ashtavakra says is right, that a sattva buddhiman becomes kritartha when he listens to it, yatha tatha upadeshena. Whereas the other person who is not sattva buddhiman, even if he listens to the whole life, he will still have confusion. So he is right. He is not discouraging anybody, he is right. Next verse, ji. Moksho vishaya vairasyam bandho vaishayiko rasaham etavadeva vijnanam yathechasi tatha kuru. What is moksha? Freedom. Vishaya vairasyam. No taste for objects. See, my style of teaching is absence of the taste for the object should be interpreted as freedom from the objects. Not that there is an object, I can be free from the taste. If there is an object, I will have taste for it. And what a taste, my God. I will be thinking about the object, the whole. It is not possible to have no taste for things if there is sense of reality. And freedom from the object and freedom from the sense of reality about it is one and the same. If there is object with a sense of reality, I will have taste for it. And if I should not have the taste for the object, there should not be any object. But I can't deny the object. So I can only correct the sense of reality about it. Freedom from the sense of reality about the object and freedom from the object is one and the same. It means understanding one's being. Therefore, even freedom from desire means Brahmavidya. Freedom from the taste for things means Brahmavidya. Even freedom from anger means Brahmavidya. Freedom from greed means Brahmavidya. In fact, you cannot solve any even topical problem for good without solving the fundamental problem. Topical problems people solve means temporarily. That is why day-to-day problems are solved only day-to-day. Day-to-day problems are not solved for years and years. Isn't it? Today's problems are solved only for today. Temporary relief. You can't solve the topical problems for good. And therefore, from the topical problems, one can have only relief. It is always better to use this term. You can have relief from hunger. Temporary relief from hunger. When you go to a quiet place, you have a temporary relief from noise. And man doesn't mind really having series of temporary reliefs. Because life will go. बाद में कौन देखा है, छोड़ो. But as Vedanta Vidyarthis, what we need to understand is that no topical problem can be solved for good without solving the fundamental problem. Therefore, Ashtavakraji is right when he says moksha. What is freedom? Vishaya vairasyam, free from the taste for the objects. I mean, it looks like mere vairagyam with a sense of reality. It's not that. I can't accept it. You cannot be free from the taste for things. Even if you have vairagyam, you have the potential for the taste. Vairagyam is a precondition for going into Vedanta. Vairagyam is necessary. Vairagyam itself is a lot of enlightenment. That the object is not the answer. But even if I know that the object is the answer, if I carry the sense of reality about the object, I will have taste for it. Therefore, Vairagyam is not a permanent answer. Vairagyam also is a relief. Vairagyam helps me to study Vedanta. Vairagyam gives me inner relief to study Vedanta. Because Vairagyam itself, with a sense of reality about things. If I am free from the sense of reality about things, then that is Jnanam. If I am free from the sense of reality about things, that is Jnanam. Then there is nothing more. It is a great Jnanam. And freedom from the sense of reality of the things and freedom from the things are one and the same. And both of them are synonymous with understanding one's being. To be and to be free from the other and to be free from the sense of the other is one and the same. How can there be the other and the sense of the other be two different things? And therefore, it is okay to say that freedom from the taste for things, meaning freedom from the sense of reality about things, meaning freedom from avidya about oneself, is moksha. Moksha is freedom from avidya. Moksha means mukti, liberation from it. In fact, later on Ashtavakraji is going to say, even moksha, discovering that there is no bondage is moksha, rather than accepting bondage and liberating oneself from bondage. Discovering that there is no bondage. There is no snake for me to liberate myself from snake. That discovering that there is no snake is moksha from snake. If you want to use that terminology, all right. But what is moksha? Discovering that there is no bandha, there is no bondage. Because the self is ever free. Moksho vishaya vairasyam. I have explained all the implications. Therefore, don't be gullible enough to think that you can be free from the taste for things just like that. By your strong will, by your resolve. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. As an individual, I am a bundle of temptations. As a physiological individual, I am full of frailties. I am full of weaknesses. I am full of tastes. I am full of sensuousness. It is just not possible for a physiological individual to be free from the taste for things. If I have to be free from the taste for things, I must know the things themselves are mithya. And understanding the falsity of the objects means understanding the satyatvam of one's being. That means Brahma Vidya. Therefore, moksho vishaya vairasyam bandhaha, and whereas the bondage is vaishayiko rasaha, it is the taste for things. That means the sense of embodiment leading to the sense of reality about the universe, leading to the sense of taste for things, leading to the struggle for them, leading to samsara. This is all called bandha. Notional, of course. Therefore, the taste for things is not just one weakness. It has a chain of reasons. Taste for things, behind it is the sense of reality about things. Sense of reality means the sense of embodiment. The sense of embodiment means ignorance about one's actuality. Atma agrahanam, Atma anyatha grahanam, and anya grahanam. And in the mithya there is satyatva, buddhi, all these things. Therefore, the taste for things, the desire for things implies the sense of reality about things. This is real. I am an individual and this object is real. Not only the object is real, that it can give me a thrill is also real. The pleasure is real. The taste is real. If you sit in a chair and there is a table and there is a imli ka banaya hua chutney, how long can you resist the temptation? ये होता नहीं है. ये होता नहीं है. Therefore, anything, Jodhpur laddu, how long can you resist जी? हाथ तो जाता है. Therefore, the taste for things is always there as a jiva. Etavadeva vijnanam, this is all that is to be understood. This is the boundary of understanding. This is the boundary. All that is to be understood is the taste for things is samsara, and freedom from the taste for things is moksha. And let it not be interpreted to mean only vairagyam. Let it be understood to mean only Brahma Vidya. Because without Brahma Vidya, without understanding the self, you cannot be free from the taste for things. That's why Bhagavan says, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam. He says, vairagyam can keep you away from things, but there is a taste inside. Rasavarjam, the taste. You have the taste for the pleasures. And the taste for the pleasures is there due to the sense of reality. And the sense of reality is there because of the sense of individuality, embodiment. And the sense of embodiment is there because I don't know what my actuality is. Self-ignorance leads to self-embodiment. That leads to the sense of reality about the objects. And the sense of reality about the objects leads to the taste for them. A lot of problems are there. Understanding the problem itself is an answer. If you understand the fundamental problem correctly, exactly as it is, that is the answer. Like when you understand the riddle correctly, that is the answer. In fact, understanding the problem is always along with the answer. Otherwise, it's not understood. It is the eternal that is confused with the form. To understand this statement, that the embodiment is nothing but the confusion about the eternal, then I must know what is eternal. That is the answer. That is the answer. To begin with, I just take it for granted there is adhyasa, etc. And when the Vedanta is understood, the problem also is understood as adhyasa. Problem is understood as adhyasa, and as it is understood as adhyasa, it is also gone. When somebody says snake is an error, I only believe it. But when I understand the rope, then I say, my God, snake was adhyasa. As you understand the snake as adhyasa, the snake is also gone. In that sense, I am telling you that problem correctly understood, problem properly understood is the answer. Therefore, non-understanding of one's nature, which is evident in all the three states. The evidence of one's, and also if you can really reflect in your life, what is to be reflected is anubhava has no negation. You see this point, then everything falls in its place. Everything falls in its place. Anubhava has no negation. Object of anubhava can have negation, not anubhava. That you experience has no negation. That I experience, the waking, has no negation. That I experience, waking can have negation, but that I experience, me as the experiencer, has no negation. I am there experiencing the dream. Dream has negation, waking has negation, but the one who experiences freedom from both. Freedom from both means it is just synonymous with being non-dual. Freedom from thought means being non-dual, being thought-free. Experiencing the absence of sound means experiencing the silence of one's being. Experiencing the silence of one's being means to be non-dual, to be silent, to be. Experiencing one's existence is only in the form of just to be. You cannot do anything beyond being, please. If you try to do something beyond being, then it becomes kartritvam. And kartritvam is not your nature. That is not an adornment to the being. That is a distortion of the being. Like any movement on the part of the space is a distortion. Space cannot do anything extra beyond being. Silence cannot do anything beyond being. Similarly, the self cannot do anything beyond being. Therefore, in the deep sleep state, even in the waking state, it is first being and then there is a notion of I am a doer. In the dream, there is an actuality of being and with the notion that I am a doer. And in the deep sleep state, there is only the actuality of being without the notion of kartrutvam. Waking state is truth distorted. Dream is truth distorted. Deep sleep state is truth as it is. Truth as it is. It gets distorted after waking up. When you look back at the deep sleep state, then you have enough time to distort it. You can't have a distorted experience. You can have a distorted thinking. ये बहुत जरूरी है जी. It is the peaking in thinking, understanding. There cannot be distorted evidence. There can be a distorted understanding about what is evident. In the deep sleep state, there is no thinking, but there is only anubhava. It cannot have any distortion. It's only the truth as it is. And when I start thinking in the waking state, when I look back, I interpret it as absence of the waking, absence of the dream. I think of it in terms of the absence of objects, absence of time, absence of space, absence of pain, but I never look at it as presence of one's existence. I don't look at it in terms of the presence of oneself, free from all of them. That's why it is necessary to understand the Apavada Vakya like this. Achakshuhu, Akarnaha, Avang Manaha. Now, what happens is by negligence, we interpret such vakyas wrongly. But do you know what it means? Achakshuhu. The being free from the chakshu pramana. Embodiment free, therefore senses free. Ear free, the ear free. That means the ear free refers to the presence of someone who is free from the ear. You have to be clear about the expression. The ear free, the eye free, the speech free, the word free. The word free means you are referring to the presence of someone. The thought free. The thought free does not refer to the absence of thought. The thought free refers to the presence of the one who is free from thought. These expressions make all the difference. That's why Apavada Vakya is not to be interpreted to mean absence. It is Achakshuhu, Avang Manaha. Therefore, Etavadeva Jnanam ji, this is the Jnanam. Yathechasi tatha kuru. Ashtavakra ji says, Jaise marji vaise karo. Now it is up to you. Jaise marji vaise karo. This is the only thing. This is the only literature by studying which you don't oblige anybody. In all our doings, you can always entertain the thought that I am obliging somebody. When you go to office and work, you can say, I am obliging my family members. When you eat, of course, you are not obliging. Sometimes that also you will think, I am obliging somebody. Because my mummy will be unhappy if I don't eat there for her sake, etc. But when it comes to studying Vedanta, it is necessary to understand that you oblige none. This distorted thinking that I am obliging somebody is there universally. My parents tell me to go to Vedanta class, therefore just to oblige them I am coming to the class. Distorted thinking is there. Even though you don't oblige anybody, but it is there to think. Man can always think that I am obliging somebody. But you will be able to listen to Vedanta correctly only when you think that I am obliging nobody. I am a student of truth. That profound inner view has to be there to listen to Vedanta as the answer to the fundamental problem, rather than read answers to the topical problems into that teaching. Don't read silly answers for the silly questions into Vedantic Upadesha. Okay, ji, this is over. Moksha is Vishaya Vairasyam and Bandha is Vaishayiko Rasa. Vagmi prajna mahodyogam janam mukha jadalasam karoti tattva bodham karoti tattva bodhoyam atastyakto bubukshubhihi. Humanity has renounced Vedanta. Why? Because they are scared of Vedanta, that Vedanta may stifle their taste for things. There is a fear. Anything spiritual can take away the inner just for life, just for enjoying. That just for enjoying the life. Man doesn't want to be exposed to anything that will stifle his taste for things, his enjoyments. Therefore, Vedanta has been tyakta, has been renounced by humanity. Vedanta has been renounced by whom? Bubukshubhihi, those who love enjoyments. Bhoktaon ke dwara, those who want to enjoy midnight dance, those who want to enjoy drinks, and there are new things coming to instigate the tastes of the people, I am telling you. The rasa, the taste for things, the new things, the inventions are taking place to cater to the taste of things, taste of people. Therefore, because human beings can get occupied only with the pleasures. Reflection is a different matter. Therefore, here Bhagavan says, Vedanta has been tyakta, ataha tyakta. It has been renounced, it has been abandoned by the humanity which is more interested in bubuksha, bhoktrutvam. But what does Vedanta do? Vagmi, a talkative man. Vagmi. Vedanta can make a talkative man. Mukha, dumb. A talkative man can be touched by Vedanta to become quiet. Prajna, a great scholar. Vedanta can touch the thinking of a scholar and make him jada. There is no need for scholarship. Jada. The one who is, prajna means the one who is thinking. All the speculator, prajna. Imagining, speculating, inventing, etc. And such a person, when he is exposed to Vedanta, he becomes jada. Means what? There is no need for scholarship, there is no need for thinking. Because the truth is not an object of thinking. In fact, Vedanta makes you think to understand the falsity of thinking. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी. We do vichara to show, to see the falsity, mithyatvam of the very thinking and the satyatvam of the being. Therefore, Vedanta converts a prajna into, a speculator into a jada, means quiet. Mahodyogam, an industrialist, a man who is industrious day and night. One who is industrious day and night. A man, a workaholic. What does he do? What does Vedanta do to him? Alasam. He loses interest in all kartritva activity. An actor can lose interest in activity. A doer can lose interest in doings. And a speculator can lose interest in all speculation thinking. And a talkative man can lose interest in talking. Where there is no use of talking, just look within and understand the truth. Yes. That's why as you become more and more interested in Vedanta, you feel, I wish I had not married and had a family. I wish I had remained alone, so that I would have got all the time for myself to think of the truth. Yes, definitely one feels. I wish I had no responsibilities. I wish... Anyway, Ji, every decision is made at a given time, under some pressure. At that time, but everybody does repent, whatever way. As you go into Vedanta, every responsibility you repent. Every duty, I wish I had no duties of this. I wish I had no responsibilities like this. I wish I had no problems like this. I wish I were a sannyasi, born sannyasi, because the topic is so fantastic. Therefore, those who are not married, please don't think you are lacking anything. You are blessed. Yes, you are blessed. And those who are married also are blessed if you can manage. Second best, Grihastha is second best. If you don't go deep into Vedanta, Grihastha is good. If you go deep into Vedanta, then remaining alone is great. Because the topic does not like any rival. The topic does not like any Southern. Does not like any rival. The topic you get into only when you are absolutely free. That is the spirit behind sannyasa, please understand. Sannyasa is taken only to be liberated by the Shastra from all duties and responsibilities. Shastra says you don't have even Nitya Karma. You don't have to perform Agnihotra. You don't have to do any Nitya Karma. Because all these things, when you are not a sannyasi, akarane pratyavaya. Certain things, certain prayers, if they are not offered, then you accumulate papa. Just as when you don't take bath, you accumulate muck. Similarly, when you don't offer daily prayers, you accumulate papa. In that sense it is said, akarane pratyavayaha. And karane, when if you offer prayers on a daily basis, then not only you don't accumulate papa, but you also get something positive in the form of mental peace. This is there. Like when you take a bath, not only you don't accumulate muck, but you also feel fresh. There is a positive result of positive good. Feeling fresh, it's nice, you enjoy. Similarly, mental peace is enjoyed by daily prayer. Not only you don't accumulate sin. Therefore, Vedanta touches a talkative man, makes him dumb, makes him mute. A speculator, a scholar is touched and he becomes quiet. And a workaholic is touched and he becomes alas, means he loses interest in his activity. And that is the reason why the humanity has abandoned the Vedanta, because it comes in the way of our living and enjoying and doing and growing, etc. We'll continue it later. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.